watching this fresh and new episode of Market Masterclass on Money 9. I'm Sakshi Batra, and on this show, we keep you getting introduced to market experts who help you understand how to map the markets, how to understand what is the most prudent strategy as an investor or as a trader for you in the current market scenario. Joining in is a very special guest today. With me, I have Mr. Subhadeep Nandi, who's a quantitative derivatives trader and a market expert at that as well. Thank you very much, Subhadeep sir. Thank you very much for joining in on Money 9. It's a pleasure to have you with us. This is your maiden interview with us, but hope to have many, many more interactions with you so that all the viewers of Money 9 can benefit from your experience in the markets as well. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Sakshi.
Let me begin by understanding from you, Mr. Nandi, how are you really understanding the market mood right now? Would you say that most of the damage is already done with regards to the spike in the COVID cases, the second wave of COVID-19, or do you actually see some more downfall coming in yet again because of the kind of record spike that we are seeing, and most of the fundamentals, the macro data, actually, hinting towards the negativity in the economy?
I will start by just telling you what happened last year, April. Now, if a person is a trader or investor in the markets, I would advise that person to keep the COVID data, COVID scenario at someplace else and his view on the market somewhere else. Because if you remember, last year we bottomed out somewhere end of March when the lockdown just started. Then the COVID cases kept spiking up, went up all the way till October, and the market also started rising till October. So I don't think just looking at the COVID cases would be a right matrix to analyze the market as such. There's something else going on. Having said that, the macro data which is coming in over the past 1 month has been actually extremely bad. It's not good. So if you see the markets as of now, we did make some kind of highs, and from there we are very slowly grinding downwards. So one point is that the market scenario is extremely cautious. People are not actually trying to make any new investments and looking for any new highs. And obviously, market people are no different from what is going on in the society around us. So everybody knows the COVID cases which are going up, and that's creating a bit of a, I would say, apprehension that whether we can invest in the market at this time or not. The situation is fluid. So I would advise take each day as it comes, and once again keep the COVID factor outside and the market data what we trade in a different way. So that should be the correct approach to see the markets as of now.
So do you see further downside from here?
Yes, there are two pieces of macro data which is extremely worrying. Number one is the devaluation of the INR. For example, INR probably made a high of around 75.25 just a few days back. Today it was around 74.60. So this kind of high INR actually, devalued INR, puts an extra pressure on the FIIs who are already invested. They get lower money which they take out. So if INR continues getting devalued, RBI is probably still not stepping in. This will lead to some kind of an outflow. This is point one. Point two is, due to COVID, worldwide economic slowdown, etc., till now we had the advantage of low crude prices worldwide. Now, despite crude being low in India, we were paying a very high price for petrol and diesel due to the taxes and such. But over the past few days, crude has again started going up. It was probably above 60 and around $64. So if crude starts to go down as a net importing nation of crude, that will put another extra burden on our balance of payments. That is another macro factor which is going to put a pressure on the markets. I'm not talking about the macro factors like auto sales, loan offtake from banks and etc. But these two are extremely major factors which can push the market down in the short term. Even if they do not push down, markets going up from here would be very difficult.
Okay, understood. So for all those new traders, new investors wanting to enter the markets right now, still unsure of whether this is the right time or not, what would you say to them if they were to enter right now in financial 2022 to understand whether this is the right time? How should they really move forward with their investments and trades? What would you say?
For an extremely new investor, what I would suggest is go through the SIP route. Otherwise, say for example like Nifty or Bank Nifty, if you see Bank Nifty, in 2 days from 33,500, it came down to 3600. It was a 2000 point fall. Again, it jumped up 1500. So kind of the market is moving at a hyper speed. That is, in 1.5 days, we are seeing 4-5% movement on the major indices. Individual stocks, in fact, are moving much more. You see the big group stocks. So if a person is a novice to the markets, he is trying to enter the market, there's no way he can time the market. That is, enter the low, exit at high, and start. His only way where he can be somewhat, I would say, insured would be if he tries a SIP route, that is, take an amount of 5,000, 10,000, invest every month. So that is the safest way for a person to enter the market now. Having said that, if you're trying to enter the market, remember something, the Nifty PE is above 40. The auto sector PE is somewhere like a crazy valuation of 200 or something. I don't remember the exact figure. So historically, if we see the last 50 years, these are not price to earning ratios where people have bought stocks and got an exit after 2 to 5 years. People have got stuck. Rather, people should wait for a sizable correction where valuations become much more, I would say, attractive, reasonable, economical, then enter. Otherwise, enter the market through the SIP. Don't try to time the markets.
Okay. Also, I wanted to understand from you, last 1 week, last 2 weeks, if we were to see, there has been an extreme volatile move in the markets that we have been witnessing. Bouts of volatile corrections, even on a single day, we've seen about 1,700, 2,000 points of correction in the Sensex as well. So, and volatile moves such as these, they often disturb intraday traders, short-term traders a lot. What would be your advice to them in this kind of a scenario? Because as and when we are moving forward, there are more and more experts saying that there is going to be some more days and weeks of volatile moves that we will see.
Number one, volatility on an intraday basis is not always bad for traders. It provides a huge amount of opportunities if someone takes the right call. Having said that, obviously this volatility is not normal. This is very abnormal. Now, there's an old saying on Wall Street that market bottoms are made quietly and market tops are made in violence. Now, this kind of volatility is sheer violence. So obviously what is happening is, if you see the Sensex falling 2,000 points one day, jumping 1,000 points the next day, whoever is making a large position in the market, that is us, if we are making a position in the market gives us money due to COVID scenario, due to macro factors, market is moving fast, people are booking their profit parts and again moving to the other side. Now, this is happening due to a major fundamental change in the Indian markets which has taken place from 1st March. That is the margining system. Prior to 1st March, the margining system was such that intraday traders could have put up 10,000 rupees and take positions of 1 lakh, 1.5 lakhs, 2 lakhs, even 5 lakhs depending upon the broker. Now, from 1st March, SEBI has come out with a rule that if you are trading the derivatives market in options or futures, at least 50% margin has to be put up by the trader. Now, this going into September, October 2021 will be actually 100% margin. So obviously, as the margin has increased, the participation of the traders, the volume theoretically should have decreased. It has not to that extent. But those day traders which were putting in huge volumes and kind of along with that, lot of arbitrages came in, lot of wall-up funds came in. Everything was creating kind of a cushion in the market where the volatility was not that much. Now, the moment those margining systems came into place, something very fundamentally changed with the markets, and we have seen that. So this volatility which we are seeing now, I don't think it's a short-term phenomenon. This is going to increase in the very near term. So people should better get prepared for volatile days.
Okay, so Mr. Nandi, what are some of the top 3 or 4 tips that you would like to share with all the viewers of Money9 with respect to trading lessons that you've learned over the years?
So basically, if you are studying technical analysis, if you are starting off, I will suggest to start with very basic logics like moving average, trend lines, RSI and stuff. So once you start from there, you kind of get an understanding that how to analyze the prices mathematically, number one. Rather than you thinking prices will go up or prices will go down, indicators will give you a hint. Now, when you combine multiple indicators, you kind of get a system. So that system tells you objectively where to buy, where to sell, where should be your stop loss. Now, when I say objective, it means there's a set of rules. When you have a set of rules, you can take data of the last 1 year, 6 months, 5 years, whatever, and check over data. If you followed those same set of rules over time, then what kind of returns you would have expected in the market, what kind of pitfalls would have been there, whether your system would have worked in a volatile situation, whether your system would have worked in a very congested situation and stuff. So once you understand that how your system has performed over market cycles, you can start tweaking your system and making it better. So that's the ultimate aim of any technical analyst, is to become a system trader, to build a system. But for that, you have to start from the basics. Start with basic moving averages, RSI, ADX and stuff, and slowly progress.
Right. And what are the basic and most common mistakes that traders have been committing, and so that they should avoid? What would be your suggestion there?
More than their systems or strategies, I believe 95% of traders do not follow any position sizing. Position sizing means, say I have a lakh of rupees which I am willing to trade in the markets. That's my capital. Now, when I enter the market, what I see is people buying a stock. Someday they are buying 100, someday they are buying 500, someday they are buying 300. Stop loss is sometimes 5 rupees, sometimes 10 rupees, sometimes 20 rupees. Now, there's no logic to this. Now, let us say a person takes 10 trades, correct? He's correct 5 times, wrong 5 times. 5 times which is correct, he's making 10 bucks. 5 times which is wrong, he's losing 20 bucks. Obviously, he will be at a loss. Opposite is true. Let us say, now the guy is correct 7 times. I'm just trying to explain simply. But he is buying 100 shares each time, and the 3 times which he loses, he has got 1000 shares. So more than his system, it's basically his position sizing which is totally ori. In fact, I can give a very simple example. Sakshi, let us say you and I have a game of coin toss, heads or tails. Okay, you toss the coin and I call. So I will call head or tail. Now the logic is, if I call correctly, you give me 1 rupee. If I call wrongly, I give you 1 rupee. So you start tossing the coin. First time you toss, I say heads, it's heads, you give me 1 rupee. Second time, I say tails, it's tails, you give me 1 rupee. To cut the long story short, I am correct 99 instances one after the other. So I have owned 99 rupees, right? So 99 out of 99 means my system is 100% correct. On the 100th bet, I am supremely confident. I say, Sakshi, this time the bet is 100 bucks. You say, okay, fine, chalo, 100 bucks. And this time I lose. So now when I give back 100 rupees to you, the initial 99 profit is gone and I have actually lost 1 rupee. So what happened here was, the initial risk and reward of my first 99 trades were low. On the 100th trade, it was extremely high. This on a minor scale, when a trader is trading in the market, especially day trading, I would suggest 95% do not have a position sizing. What I will suggest is, keep your loss per trade fixed. If you have a lakh of rupees, whatever stop loss you give, whatever quantity you buy, ensure that you lose just 1000 rupees. How will you do that? Say a stock is worth 200 rupees and you are buying that share, your stop loss is 190, that is 10 rupees. So at 200, 100 shares, if your 190 goes, you will be losing just 1000 bucks. Keep this loss consistent throughout all your trades. It shouldn't be in one trade you have a 1000 rupee loss, you gain 1000. Again 1000 rupee loss, you gain 2000. You are confident, now you bet 20,000 rupees. So this bet size has to be uniform. You start with this, then there are a lot of different money management algos, fixed ratio and stuff. You can go into Kelly's also. But starting with a fixed loss per trade is the single most, I would say, advantageous thing traders can do. A lot of people know this but do not follow this. If you start following this, whatever system you're using, the performance will improve. This is money management, this is position sizing. Obviously, outside, what we say is the system is basically 25%, 50% is basically money management, and 25% is your psychology or execution. So rather than running after a perfect system, I would suggest start reading about money management, position sizing, how to pyramid. I mean, the whole game is how you are managing your risk. We say, rather than traders, we are actually risk managers. We are continuously managing risk. So once you have that approach, that when I'm trading in the markets, I'm managing my risk of my funds, your trading will actually improve.
Okay, on that note, thank you very much, Mr. Nandi, for these inspiring trading lessons to all the viewers of Money9 who may be just looking forward. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Market Masterclass. A whole lot is awaited on the other side, so stay tuned with us on Money9.com.